everyone, Dragothien here. Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms video. Today we're going to be doing another commander pairing spotlight, and you know, I was going through all the latest and greatest stuff, and I thought to mention, since we're doing the free-to-play project in Kingdom 75, and we're obviously having big major fights on our two main accounts, one in 916 just wrapping up, and one in 307 just getting started, I wanted to put out a nice commander pairing spotlight video for those of you who want to get the best results for the least amount of investment, really being kind of all about me, you know, all about me. I want my kills. Yes, that's right. We're going to be doing an Attila Takeda commander pairing spotlight updated for December 2021. Stick around. Alright everyone, welcome back. Here is the sheet, the breakdown sheet for our commander pairing spotlight video. I've augmented it a little bit from previous versions. It's been a couple weeks since we've done a commander pairing spotlight, so I want to go over the 5 different categories, how we're going to star them, and then on the right side what the grades are. So quickly we have the categories of survivability, damage, utility, speed, and I've changed the last one that used to be talents, and I've changed it to should you, as a free-to-play, or you can read low-spending player, invest in this pairing and why. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. I do have 2 builds I want to show you as well. We will show that at the end too. I wanted to give you both of those builds to use for this pairing. That being said, let's talk about the stars. Obviously 5-star being the best, 1-star being not even close to worth it, and then everything in between is a varying degree of that scale. And on the right side, we're going to go for an open field grade, a rally grade, and a garrison grade. S tier being best in class, best of the best. F tier being not worth it as well. And then again, A tier and B tier being varying degrees of those grades. Let's get started. So, first category, survivability. Attila Takeda is very much known for its survivability for a couple reasons. One, very tanky when it comes to actually being able to face tank almost anything in the game. It has skill damage reduction, it has tons of counterattack damage reduction and normal attack damage reduction. It also has bonuses to its normal and counterattack damages going out. Also, because it's cav, it's very fast. So in combination of all those things, we're going to give Attila Takeda 5 smiling spinny stars out of 5. Very, very survivable. And that kind of leads into the next category of damage. How much damage does Attila Takeda do? I'd say quite a lot. But we're only going 4 out of 5. Now, why would I go 4 out of 5 for Attila and Takeda? Well, here's the deal. If you want to do the maximum amount of damage in the quickest amount of time, Attila Takeda is probably not for you. There's not a whole lot of burst capability. The previous pairing spotlight that I did before had a lot to do with that very thing, Alex and Harold, where if you are going to attack somebody, you have the potential to instantly damage them with 2 quick nuke skills, one from Alex and one from Harold, back to back, before they even have a chance to cast their first skill. Whereas Attila and Takeda, they're like the engine that just, you gotta keep them going and going and going, and they will eventually tear you down by the amount of sheer, raw, white number damage that you're going to be putting out. There's absolutely no skill damage when it comes to this pairing. However, that has been compensated by the game very heavily by giving them huge white numbers that they're putting out. Again, the white numbers are your normal and your counterattack damage types respectively. In open field and in rally, this is where a big chunk of damage is done. And when we say damage, right, you're causing a lot of severely wounded because of this mechanic, because again, you tend to get less severely wounded from a skill damage going output versus a normal / counterattack damage output. That's just the way the game has functioned. So with that being said, 4 out of 5 stars. You could put 5 out of 5 if you just want to have severely wounded be the measure. But for me, I also want to have a little bit of wiggle room for, I want to cause a lot of damage very quickly. Even with one skill cycle going off, Attila Takeda doesn't really get that big bonus damage until both of them go off and are continually hitting. That's why we've got them at 4 out of 5 stars. Now let's talk about utility. Utility being how much bang for your buck can you get out of this pairing, multiple different ways inside the game. Do they provide any bonuses for your counterparts on the field when it comes to alliance buffs, debuffs, etc.? Utility, I got 5 stars. Now, why did I do 5 stars on Attila Takeda? Well, let's talk about it. First off, Attila Takeda can be used in pretty much every phase of the game as a stopgap. Open field wise, one-on-one, solo, and even again in group fights where it's part of your 5 marches, or again, even in, when we're talking about altars or ruin fights where you can only bring 1 march into the area, Attila Takeda is a great option. You're going to get very, very good trades when it comes to what you're taking damage-wise versus what you're outputting damage-wise. And then as far as just usability in the game, again, all 3 phases, open field, rally, and garrison, there is a use case to be said that Attila Takeda can in fact be used at a very high level. Now the other cool thing is, again, Attila does have the potential of doing an attack debuff, which is very, very nice, and Takeda debuffs the target, meaning when you do Fiercest Fire on your target, that target takes that extra damage from all sources, not just you. So there is some bonus damage when it comes to debuffing the target from Takeda for everybody else that's hitting that target, and you can reduce the attack bonus from Attila Takeda on the target because of the skills that you've got. So you have the potential to be able to do some debuffing, some buffing, and then obviously using this pairing in all phases of the game makes me give the utility grade of 5 stars for Attila Takeda. Speed, I think this kind of goes without saying. I put 4 out of 5 stars. This is not a mobility commander. There's not a whole lot of speed bonuses here. There is a little bit of a speed bonus on Takeda. That being said, there's no mobility talents. There is no hasty departure. There's no real big, juicy speed boosts on this pairing. So we've got 4 out of 5 stars, mainly because there's a little bit of a bonus with the pairing inherently in the skills, and then obviously they are cavalry based, so cavalry will be a little bit more speedy than, say, your infantry or even your archer marches, depending on what kind of commanders you're using on those respective troop types. This is going to be a 4 out of 5 star grade, and again, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I do want to move on to the last one. I think a lot of people are wondering, should you, as a free-to-play or a low-spending player, invest in Attila Takeda? I've got to go with a huge yes, and there's a bunch of reasons why. Obviously, these is 2 legendary commanders, so this is not easy for a free-to-play / low spender, especially very quickly, to max these 2. Now, you can get away with, okay, something to keep in mind, you can get away with a maxed Attila and a 5-5-5-1 Takeda, okay? You can get away with that and get fairly similar-ish results. 85% effective to 90% effective is where I would put it on the spectrum. That being said, okay, should you invest in this as a free-to-play? A bunch of reasons. Let's list off a few. 1, this pairing single-handedly will allow you to get your 30 million kills. You can have this and get your 30 million kills if you're active enough very, very easily. You throw this into a mix, you ask him to get swarmed a little bit, your counterattack damage starts pumping out, and you'll start to cause some serious severely wounded. And again, that's what gives you your kill numbers in Season of Conquest KVKs. Another reason, again, very, very versatile. You can see on the utility, 5 stars on the utility. You can use him everywhere. You can use him as a quick field garrison with a full cavalry march and a flag. You can use him to rally cities. He is still the best city rallier in the game to cause dead troops on a city. Okay, he is still very, very effective on the open field. Again, because of his utility, he's got that debuff, he's got the buffs, he's got everything going for him when it comes to, are you going to get a good value out of getting both of these legendary commanders in your account? Now again, is he are these 2 harder to invest in as a free-to-play player? Sure, it's going to take you a little while, but once you get it, getting your 30 million kills should really be easy mode when it comes to that. Attila Takeda, like we said, the utility is very high. Survivability is really high. The damage can be really high. The speed is really high. Why should you have him? Well, he's going to be more of a me type of pairing. Again, he does have the debuff, Fiercest Fire with Takeda. He does have the 30% attack debuff as well from Attila. But again, it's not game breaking. It's not that William buff when you're giving everybody defense boosts and rage bonuses, and it's not Mulan, and it's not, you know, it's not Joan. It's not giving you and your allies all those big huge buffs, right? But it is something. That being said, most people who use Attila Takeda, especially if it's just this March only, they're trying to get their 30 million kills. They're trying to be effective with their resources. You can use T5 with this March and really be very effective. This is also usable very much as a T4 March, but again, you got to be in the right situation, especially if you're not going to be really focusing on getting your Crystal Tech up. Get your attack numbers up in your Crystal Tech. Get your March capacity bonuses up from Call to Arms. You want to have Swift Marching for speed so you can get away if you need to. Those are the kinds of things that you need to invest into when you're an Attila Takeda user, especially if you're free to play or low spend. That's really where it's at. All right, let's jump into the grades for open field, for rally, and for garrison. Now for open field, we're going to give him an S tier grade, best in class. And again, reason being, he just causes so much damage. He's so versatile. These guys, when paired together, they just work. Now again, are they the most damage AoE? No. Are they the fastest? No. Do they provide the most buffs? No. Do they provide the most debuffs? No. But what they do is they give you a March that is very, very tanky, causes quite a bit of damage over time, and can be used in all phases on the open field, whether it's a murder ball, whether it is a small skirmish, or whether it's an altar fight, or what have you. This can also obviously be used inside of Ark of Osiris, although not the best. You want to have more bursty damage, but you get what I'm saying. This pairing does fantastic in the open field. Definitely worth an S tier grade. Now rally, what grade are we going to give for the rally? I'm still going to give an S grade, guys. Now I know there are better rallies out there right now for open field rallies when it comes to destroying a flag, a fort, a pass, trying to take those things in Season of Conquest. Right now, you're going to want to have the best of the best in class pairings. We did a video last week where we gave the meta, the multi-meta on rallying, and Attila Takeda really wasn't in that meta because there are better ones out there. We've got XY Chandra, we've got Gilgamesh Nebu, we've got Pakal Herald, right? Well, still best in class for rallying a city is Attila Takeda, and really when it comes to trying to take down Artemisia behind Amanitore, Attila Takeda doesn't do too bad. It's not great, but it's not too bad. And if you've got top tier gear and you're a rallier, this won't be the worst thing in the world. You'll get decent-ish trades. You just won't get a very positive trade. So in that regard, again, being the best city rallier and also being somewhat effective against one of the metas from a garrison perspective still, I'm going to give it an S grade. So S grade in open field, S grade in rally. What are we going to give for the garrison? We're going to give an A grade. And again, it's very good. You gotta have full cav, okay? That's one thing. And there are some skills that are only for the map. I understand that. However, if somebody has a full flag of cavalry and you have Attila Takeda in it, and somebody comes and decides, hey, I'm just going to take this flag because it's not a proper garrison, and they swarm it, you're going to cause so much dead that you'll just sit there and laugh as they swarm your flag down. You might lose it. You might lose that flag. It might burn, but you're going to cause a ton of damage behind it. That's what we're doing for Attila Takeda. All right, so let's jump over to the talent builds. I want to show you two talent builds, one for city hopping and one for balanced build. All right, everybody, I'm back. As you can see here, we have got two builds, one at the top that's labeled City Hop, and one at the bottom that's labeled Balanced Build. The Balanced Build is the one that I use on the field and also with my rallies all the time. This is my standard one. I don't really use the City Hop one. In fact, I just created it just for this video because, again, a lot of people that have Attila Takeda and they want to use Attila Takeda to get a bunch of kills on their own, this is the build that will be perfect for you to do that because it is solely focused on getting as much damage out as possible in the first 10 seconds while also remaining very survivable. So some of the things that we went through from a talent perspective to get these outputs Fight to the Death increases all damage dealt by 6%, but also increases all damage taken by 3%. You've also got Martial Mastery. It increases normal attack damage by 6%, but decreases skill damage by 3%. Again, we don't have skill damage, so that's a no-brainer. Also, we have Rallying Cry, but it doesn't require a rally. Increases all damage dealt by 15%. That's huge. During the first 10 seconds of entering a battle. That's where your city hopping's coming in, right? You also have Moment of Triumph. While army led by this commander is at more than 90% strength, increases all damage dealt by 9%. Very, very strong. You also have Dragon Saber, increasing your 1.5% normal attack damage. You've also got Halberd, which is increasing your damage dealt to archers. So if you're hopping out of the city and you're attacking that Gilgamesh Nebu, if you're attacking that Nebu YSG or your Artemisia YSG or whatever, right? You're going to get an extra 9% on top of all that. Then you've also got Disarm, which has the 10% chance to reduce the enemy attack by 20% for the next 2 seconds as well. Very, very helpful. And then Charge, which is kind of a separate from all the things I just described. If you're under 50% and you get into a jam, you're going to be 30% faster, so you can get away and get back to your city and refresh and start all over again. So this is your city hop build to give you the most damage possible in those first 10 seconds, especially, where you can be pumping out some serious damage. High numbers on severely wounded on your enemy, and then you pop back into your city, and then you're not taking their skill damage either, unless you're maybe attacking a Guan or something, which then I would maybe question your selection of target. But at that point, you know, if that's all that's out there, you do what you got to do. Let's jump to the balanced build. This is what I'm going to use for your open field, for your rallies, for basically every situation except for city hopping or hopping out of cities, which I don't do anyway. But that being said, here it is in all of its glory. In my opinion, this is the way to go. This gives you everything that you need all the time. You're not requiring, like, again, Rallying Cry. It's not requiring the first 10 seconds to really be effective because we don't even have it. One thing I would love to have is Disarm, but I don't have enough points to get it and all the other things that I want. So some big key pieces here. Emblazoned Shield, reducing skill damage taken by 12%. That's very, very strong. You got some rage generating buffs with Undying Fury and Burning Blood. You also have Effortless, which is one of the best attack talents in the game, but it requires sustained fighting, which is why I didn't have it in the City Hop version, because you're not going to be sustained fighting very much in that scenario. During battles, increases all damage dealt by 2.5% every 10 seconds, up to 10%. So it takes 40 seconds for this to actually get to full blast. But again, as long as you're not stopping fighting, you're going to be in good shape and getting 10% extra damage bonus all the time until you stop fighting. Same thing with Fight to the Death, 6% all damage dealt increase, taking 3% more damage. To me, it's a fair trade-off for what you're trying to do with Attila Takeda. You also have, again, Martial Mastery, 6% extra normal attack damage for absolutely no cost in this pairing. You still have Charge, so if you get into a little bit of a snag, you can jump 50% reduced. 50% troop strength gives you a 30% increased march speed. Very, very strong. You still have Halberd, you still have Dragon Saber, and you still have Galea, which is an increase in health to Cav as well. And I always, if I can afford Buckler Shield, I always get it. I will not get something just to get Buckler Shield. It's so good. Reducing counterattack damage taken by 9%. That's nullifying a Vengeance, a Book of Vengeance, and then some. So to me, this is a huge talent here that you definitely want to have on any build that has the Conquering talent tree. You want to have Buckler Shield every time if you can get away with it. It's harder to do in the skill damage tree pairings when you're talking about having the skill damage tree, a troop tree, and the Conquering tree. Very difficult to get, but I still drop a few things to get that sometimes. Okay, so that being said, let's go ahead and wrap up the video here. I hope you enjoyed the video, everybody, and I hope that it's been helpful for you. That being said, leave a comment in the comment section below if you felt that this was helpful for you. I love doing these videos for you. It's made me kind of especially with all the recent content that I've been doing, it's made me reinvestigate some of these pairings and see how better ways to do it when you're not necessarily a heavy spender like myself. I have multiple huge T5 accounts that are in multiple kingdoms giving you guys content, but playing on my 40 million account in Kingdom 75 against 7 other Imperium kingdoms, I should say, has kind of given me a little bit more insight into the struggle of a free-to-play player. I have 10 million kills there currently without an Attila Takeda. I can almost guarantee you that if I had Attila Takeda on that account, I'd already be at 30 million kills, even with not having as much time as I would like to spend killing there inside of that KVK. I believe I would have really, really close numbers to that 30 million kills, because it gets such positive trades, and especially with the KVK that we were in, it was very, very advantageous to have a build like the City Hop build earlier, where you have all the damage being pumped out in the first 10 seconds, being able to be in a city right beside the action, tapping somebody for 10 seconds, popping back into the city, and then calling it a day. Again, speaking of calling it a day, let's go ahead and wrap the video up. I will see you guys next time. Cheers, have a good one, and take care.